Hello everyone and welcome to 9-Inch Charge. We've got another War Scroll review coming to you today, and today we're going to be looking at the Beast-Skewer Killbow for the Kruleboyz. Now this War Scroll review was a request from a subscriber, so if you have any requests for any War Scrolls you'd like to see reviewed or any other content you'd like to see on the channel, please let me know and we'll do what we can for you. Just before we take a look at this War Scroll, if you enjoy this video, please don't forget to drop it a like. It would really mean a lot to me and it just helps people to find the channel. And if you'd like to see more content like this in the future, or if you've been enjoying the content so far but you haven't quite subscribed, hopefully this is the day that you will click that subscribe button. Alright, let's get into it. The idea of an Auric that can shoot straight seems like a contradiction, but they do exist. Those who operate the portable ballistas known as Beast-Skewer Killbows can not only bullseye a target, but also slay several smaller enemies with a single shot. Is that a slight to Savage Auric arrow, boys? Sounds like it to me. Anyway, the Beast-Skewer Killbow has a move of 5, a save of 5, a bravery of 5, and a wounds characteristic of 5. So nice and easy to remember. And it comes in at 130 points. What's surprising for me is that this has a move of 5. I mean, looking at the model, it looks pretty static and difficult to move around. I wouldn't want to have to move that thing. I don't even think in real life I could move that thing 5 inches if it was to scale, let alone as sure-footedly as a man marching at pace. But that's great, that's an additional 5 inches to the potential threat range of this weapon. Before we get on to explaining how this unit shoots, because it does shoot in quite a unique way and the abilities are all tied in, so we'll kind of explain it as we go. But just before we get to that, they do have a melee attack. It's got a 1-inch range, 3 attacks, 4s and 4s, no rend, 1 damage with their jaggedy blades. It's nothing special. Obviously, looking at it, it is just for shooting. If it's in combat, I think probably something's gone a bit wrong. So let's have a look at the shooting. The Beast-Skewer Killbow has 2 kinds of shots. It can make a hasty shot or it can make an aimed shot. Bolt boys prefer to keep away from the main battle line when possible, remaining stationary to fire carefully aimed shots at their enemies. When this unit attacks with Beast-Skewer bolts, use the aim shot missile weapon characteristic if it did not make a normal move in the same turn and is more than 3 inches away from enemy units. Otherwise, use the hasty shot missile weapon characteristic. Okay, so we've got one attack profile for if we're in combat or if we have moved, and another one for if we have not moved and we're not within 3 inches of any enemy units. The hasty shot has a range of 12, 1 attacks, 4s to hit, 3s to wound, and a rend of 2. And the aim shot has a 24-inch range, 1 attacks, 2s to hit, 3s to wound, and a rend of 2. So a big difference here in terms of range and ability to be able to shoot. The hasty shot is very unreliable. With 1 attack on a 4+, you're going to miss half the time. You really want to be keeping this out of combat and not moving it, despite its brilliant move characteristic for what it is, so that you can do the aimed shot, 2s to hit, 3s to wound, and rend 2. Now this is actually pretty likely to get through against most things. Now let's have a look at how the damage is calculated. Beast-Skewer bolts can punch straight through a monster or several ranks of enemy warriors. To determine the damage characteristic for an attack made with Beast-Skewer bolts, roll the number of dice equal to the wounds characteristic of the target unit. The damage characteristic is equal to 2 plus 1 for each roll of a 5+ up to a maximum damage of 12. So the damage is anywhere between 2 and 12 wounds, depending on your target. So obviously this is named the Beast-Skewer Killbow, so it's going to want to go up against stuff with high wounds. And this is reflected in its ability to be able to skewer them, and it is very much the case of the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Against something like a Mega Gargant, you are actually likely to get that 12 damage. And against your smaller models, it's going to be an additional 3 or 4. So you're probably looking at 5 damage on average against a monster, which is absolutely brilliant and certainly terrifying for your opponent. The range means that pretty much no monster on the tabletop is going to be safe, and they're definitely going to be worried about this. I mean, this is going to be phenomenal on the tabletop, I think, especially in the new meta where we've seen so many monsters and so many rewards for taking monsters and the monstrous rampages and things like that. There's definitely going to be a choice of targets for you to use this for. So I think this is definitely something you're going to want to include in your army, because it's always going to be a potential big threat to your enemy, and it's definitely a big distraction as well. They're not going to be going for your main units when this is on the tabletop. They're going to be wanting to try and find a way to get into this, so it'll also provide a bit of protection for your front ranks, a bit of a distraction. I think it's a fantastic War Scroll. I think it's great fun, and I can't wait to see the skewer tally mount up. Let me know in the comments what you're most looking forward to bringing down. Let me know what the primary target is going to be. I wish you lots of success with your shooting. This has been 9-Inch Charge, and I will catch you next time.